And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Cisco's Dragonfyre. So, last episode was a little disappointing in the fact that we were not able to defeat the old champion's remains, which I did look at the wiki as to what happens when you do slay him and the frenzy shade comes out. Turns out that guy does spawn illusions at half health. What I am not sure of is the fact of whether those illusions can attack or not. According to the wiki, it does not have any information regarding that fact, but it did feel like the illusions were also attacking. So I don't know if that is a bug initiated due to the trait system that may be added due to L2 hostility. And that's also another thing. Uh, the Frenzy Shade did have traits, which did make it a little bit harder. I do know it did have Curse, however, with how fast they were moving, I do believe that it may also have had the Speedy trait as well, and I think that's why we were struggling so much, because it was moving insanely quickly, and then to top it off, it was cursed. And then if the trait system caused a slight bug with the illusions, then we are actually getting attacked by 5 instead of by one entity, because if it's an illusion, then illusions shouldn't be able to fight. Maybe if it was a clone, now I understand clones can fight, but I don't know. That may not seem to be the case. Let me get some food from over here just because it seems like we are eating non-stop. But yes, at the end of that episode, I did mention how I do plan on uh, upgrading our gear and leveling up, just because we did make a mob farm. However, we did not allocate a ton of points like before. So what I did do was I did power level quite a lot, and then I started putting a ton of points everywhere. One thing I do have to mention is the fact that I did change my own settings so that I can increase the amount of points allocated up to 210 levels. So I have an extra 100 levels on you guys to allocate. If you guys want to do that, just let me know down in the comments. I will make sure to respond to you down there. But yeah, technically you do max out at 110. So if you are looking at my skill tree and you are trying to copy it a little bit, hopefully this kind of shows you the whole big picture. But yeah, if I were to subtract 4 points from what I've leveled, or 5 points, basically all you have to do is remove anything that adds damage with the shield. If you remove any of these or all of these, then technically you should be able to allocate all the points that you see here. Yeah, the only reason why I increase it is because I do like the extra damage, and then all these little tiny modifiers, they do play a little role. So that's my personal choice. Not to mention, I do like getting extra points into blocking. Makes your shield a lot more useful, especially since the system, the way it works, is if you have points into blocking, your shield works. If you don't have points into blocking, your shield doesn't work. But yeah, besides going crazy with the shields, or getting points and power leveling like insane, I did modify the village a little bit. So instead of just having the university, this is going to be like the little school area. So right here we have the library, and then I decided that I am going to help these guys flatten all this out, just because we are going to need to do a little bit of terraforming, just because it's not going to look good going into the ground. So if I just remove all of this, flatten it out, and then figure a way to make it a little hilly just along this edge while keeping it flat over here, I think that will work a lot better. But yeah, university, we have the library right here, we have the school. So basically all the education system will be right here in easy access to the town hall. All the residences are going to be on that side. Over here we do have the builder's hut and the tavern, and then we have our two guard towers. That one has been upgraded to level 2, so our knight can actually now wear chain mail armor and hold an iron sword. I did do a little bit of research, so now all knights can also use a shield. So hopefully that helps with their survivability. But I I know I'm talking a little fast. It's just there's a lot that I need to cover before we get on with this episode. If we come over here, another thing that I do want to get into is L2 hostility. That is because our level has been skyrocketing nonstop as I have been power leveling. So I've probably uh, killed myself in lava like 2-3 times to keep this relatively low. However, at this level, at 60 or 72, technically, because we are 62 plus 10, because we have traveled to the nether, plus 9, these mobs are spawning at level 81 in this area, which means the pillagers that do spawn from the trolls are insanely overpowered and will slay our knights consistently, which is a plus and a negative at the same time. The reason being negative, well, we lose a guard. Plus, well, when they are a child and we have finished building a school, technically children will go to school, so then their inherent stats will actually get higher, and then when they become older, they can also go to the library if they are not a knight. So if we do have extra villagers just laying around, then these guys will indeed have way higher stats for when their time to serve does come. Then they will be better off in combat than the previous ones. That's the plus. Negative, well, I already mentioned that. So, regarding L2 hostility, there is a little system involved where you can remove and or increase difficulty in the local area. So if we were to come over here, you may have received a few of these hostility orbs, and these things are really nice. As you can see down in the description, it does say you can make a 5x5x5 chunk no longer spawn mobs with levels, aka they will spawn vanilla, which will be phenomenal for our mine colonist knights, just because then they should be able to take on any mob that should spawn in the area. Uh, so that is really nice. That's something that I did want to mention. However, I don't plan on utilizing these until I have the general size of how big I want this colony slash our kingdom to be, so that I can actually use it, just because there is also another thing from L2 hostilities that you can use called the hostility spawner. I'm pretty sure you place this down, you right click it, it'll spawn a couple mobs with some high levels. As long as you slay them all, that chunk should no longer spawn any enemies with levels. So that is also another way to help reduce the overall level of the mobs so that they are on par with the colonists, so the colonists don't suffer. Besides that, I did want to start getting into collecting items from any enemy that has a trait, and to start to do so, you do need these looting charms. As you can see, there are 4 of them, and you gotta slowly work your way up. So first on our list is making this unpolished looting charm, which is relatively cheap. So let's see, it was 2 of you, and I believe this guy. So if we come over here, click that, click this, just like that, we get ourselves a charm. And as soon as you toss this on, uh, you are able to start collecting some drops. As you can see, it tells you there. If you press U, you can come over here to trade loot, and then you could actually check everything that gets dropped. So any mob that has regenerating, yes, regenerating is crazy for some mobs, aka any bosses that have this. It's kind of absurd how crazy it is. But yeah, play them. You could get gas tears. Grenade gives you gunpowder, withering, roses, so on and so forth. So this is a really nice way of getting tons of extra items that may be very useful. Some of the best ones is getting Dragon's Breath before fighting the Ender Dragon, and that comes from Gravity and Moonwalk. And then, of course, this one as well. Withering can also give you some Wither Skulls, and then Tanky has a chance of dropping Scrap. So it's pretty nice, especially when you pair it with a pretty good mob spawner. You can get some pretty good stuff. So let's go give it a shot real quick before we move on. While we are down there, I will cover a little bit of the stuff that I did upgrade. Just because, as you can see, we do have tons of armor, tons of health. So, what I did do was I did upgrade our wither spawner, so it's maxed out on speed. I did not increase anything else besides that from the last video, so I think that should be probably more than plenty. So let's turn this off, let everybody go down and go over. But yeah, what I did make was, well, I didn't make this, I actually found this shield, but what I did do was increase its rarity. So it was just a normal shield before. However, I did reforge it, so it is now of the mythic tier. As you can see, we do get some pretty good stats on it, and it does add a little bit to our overall. However, this isn't really the main thing. Some of the main things are the gear itself. As you can see, we are now full mythic. Right now, I don't really have many gems. This one has a warlord gem, so we get 50% extra health, which is pretty cool. And then this one hopefully can do us some service, just because we are going to need to fight the ocean or the Elder Guardian at some point, so that we can increase our enchanting area. So that's the reason why I did put a pretty good swimming gem on it. I do plan on going and looking for the monument in the near future, and hopefully along the way we might be able to find a certain accessory that gives us really good swimming speed and lets us to breathe underwater. Besides the armor, some of the more important things that I'd like to mention is our sword. Just look at it. It is pretty solid. Our attack speed 2.66. However, we do have a brawler's gem that adds another 50% attack speed. So technically we are at 3.72. We added a gem to do more damage. I mean, if you look at the very top, it says 40 damage, 3.72 overall attack speed. It's pretty solid. And then it has a life steal automatically embedded and armor penetration, so when we are attacking and getting hit, we can actually recover health as we fight. If we look at the crossbow, I did make the rapid crossbow instead of using the heavy one from before. I did throw on 2 gems, one to increase the draw speed so this thing charges super quickly, and then the combat gem, which is the triangle one. That one increases arrow damage by, I think, 2500. However, since everything we equip is doubled when it comes to weapons, it's at 5000. So this guy also does fat damage. We are going to be using both of these to hopefully take on the remains and take them out once and for all, because that was annoying, that was disappointing, I'm irritated. So I made sure I got really strong and souped up to the point where this guy should be a walk in the park. Besides that, I mean, I already told you how we got increased health. I did go with the Crusader armor after all. So going with the Crusader armor set does give us extra armor toughness, extra armor, and then, how I said, allocating points over here did increase our armor. And then this guy is pretty nice, so if you hit at least 50%, you get 10%. If you hit at least 100, you get another 10. So that's basically giving me another 20% armor overall. That's the reason why our stat is pretty high. Besides that, I did reforge 2 of these guys, and I made this. So, Band of Brilliance, it does do a lot for us. I did reforge it, so we can get a lot more ring slots, so that I can put these jewels on that adds armor. Very important, because honestly, in Cisco's, it doesn't matter which armor you're using, you are able to use any of them. Accessories will help you take care of your armor and your armor toughness. So if you like an armor just because it looks good, use it. Just use it. I mean, does not matter. You have accessories that can make up for what you are lacking. So yeah, this one has tons of armor, or the gems that has armor or gives you armor. And then just the basic stats from this ring grants you 20% increased health and armor. So very useful. You could get it very early in the game. All you have to do is buy a divine ruby if you don't get one. So just buy one from the shop, and then you literally, I believe it's 1 bright steel and 2 gold, and boom, you have this. Amazing. And then I did get the enter spell power on it, so our enter spell power is a little more effective, which is nice. And then I did do one more. Let's see who got it. Oh, it was the spell book. So this one I reforged it. Luckily enough, we were able to get lightning spell power and enter spell power. It's very minimal, but I do like the 20% cast time reduction. That's really good. And then I just threw on some gems just to have the gems on it. And I did get into iron spells and crafted a few spells after taking on the 2 Archivoker areas and taking on the Pyromancer tower that we saw at the end of the last episode. We did manage to get 2 legendary inks, then we had 4 epics, and then 1 rare, and then I believe I had a couple of the other spells that we do have. So how do I get a ton of XP besides maxing out the speed? Well, I threw some Splendor gems on our mace, so this does a ton of damage and gets us a ton of XP. As you can see, it's 100%. And then over here I have a ring that gives me an extra 25, so we are getting an extra 125%. And then because of our level, the higher the level they spawn, aka more XP. So all that together leads to this craziness. So yeah, just like that, we smack them, we get loot. As you can see, some of these guys have different traits. Fiery trait drops blaze rods, I forgot which one, drops diamonds. But yeah, so if you do want to farm certain materials, and if they are accessible through the trait system, as long as you have one of these charms, they will start dropping. If you do have the next tier charm, that charm should be able to drop everything in the previous charm vicinity and the current. If I am wrong, let me know, but I believe that's how that works. Let's see. Let's go back to full and apply. Sweet. Okay, and then over here, I mean, it's a pretty decent way to get a couple gems. For me, the wither thing is mainly for coal, the wither skulls, which we are going to fight the wither today if we cannot take on the champion, but I'm pretty sure we could beat him this time around. Yeah, as you can see, we are starting to get some random drops, so to speak. As you can see, the stuff that I talked about from the traits, it's pretty good. Not to mention, you could get tons of loot bags. It's kind of crazy. So, maybe at the end of this episode, depending on how well the combat goes, we might actually open some up. Just because I do have a ton. How I said, I have been leveling up like crazy, getting tons of XP. So we do have tons of this stuff just available. Let's go over here. These are the normal ones that we have been slowly accumulating, but all the ones that we have been getting from the spawner are basically right here. So with that, I think we are ready to go fight the boss. I guess we'll take a quick nap I'll show you guys the spells that I do plan on using and the tiers, and then we will go on over. But yeah, let's see right here, inscription table. So this oak skin, I did craft it. It is a paper. I mean, over here, you need a scroll forge. Here, paper. Here, ink. Any tier. Here, what you trying to make? Potato or poison potato gives you the oak skin. Cool. I used epic ink. That's how I get that. This one, divine pearl. Epic ink. That's how I get that. This one, legendary ink, paper, ender pearl. This one is basically legendary ink, paper, and a bottle of lightning. Another ender pearl. This one I already had. I did not craft it. This one I already had. Did not craft it. That's why it's also so low. This one I did craft because I plan on making the armor, because this can be a pretty good tool looking for certain things in the future. And then Flaming Strike, also another one that I already had, didn't have to make. So yeah, kind of gave you a little quick rundown. If you are wondering how you could get a little bottle of lightning, all you need to do is right click a charged creeper with an empty glass bottle, and that should get you a bottle of lightning. Cool thing is, if you have or this mod pack already has Forbidden and Arcanus installed, so if you make yourself some Moon Beater dust, you can actually right click a creeper and get yourself some bottle of lightnings, which is super easy, because this, you just find this down when you're mining, mine it, cook it, boom. This stuff, self-explanatory, and you get 4 pieces. You could get at least 8 to 10 bottles from a charged creeper, as long as you are kind of safe with it. So super easy stuff. But first, let's actually gear ourselves up. So let's use this thing first. Yep, and then we use this one, and then we go with Fortify, and then we go with Echoing Strikes, and then we'll have this on standby, and let's go fight this guy. And let's see where I think I got him. Okay, yep, so it looks like we got him this time. Way different fight from before, because I mean, we actually tried. Yeah, yep, did. Okay, we got 3 glue bags. I don't know how I feel about that. Besides that, we got the soul and we got the essence, so that's a plus, I guess. Let's see, where is this loot? Because I do think we could get a chest from here. Nope. Let's see, my silk touch pick, perfect, because then we could use the tablet of scrying to find extra diamonds, if you guys don't remember. Let's get some of this, toss that, and let's get out of here. Yeah, imagine that. Us struggling against this guy should not have happened in the slightest. I just was overconfident in the fact that I thought we didn't need to actually try to actually win. However, it does seem like we do have to do a little bit of work to get ourselves in position for that. Let's level this up real quick. Let's see, 4,000 blocks. Let's see, where is base? Okay, sweet, we should be able to teleport back with this. Reason why I'm not using that is because we did have some stuff over here. I don't know if you guys remember us getting absolutely murked with some extra gear. And well, let's cover this. We'll recover this, I don't really care too much about it. And then this, we could leave everything else, and then we'll have a nice little body chilling there. Boom, just like that. We are back. We have recovered even more gear, so we can always give this to our knights in the future, which would be pretty cool. Let's see. Let's put this stuff away, and then we will go fight the Wither, which is really nice. Being able to say, we got our revenge. Like, it was super easy. It's kind of embarrassing how we failed, but you live and learn. You learn that sometimes, I guess, you need to be a little overboard when facing some of these enemies because you don't know what to expect. Let's see. Let's get rid of all these. Come to the quest and Deus Infectorum. We come over here and we can happily say we have beat this guy. So next up on the list would be the Returning Knight, and then this guy. What is it? Defeat the Fallen Icon and Harbinger of Moonlight. So as soon as we do this, we can move on to the Netherite Monstrosity, to which, honestly, if I reforge, no, if I put some gems on this shield, I believe we might be ready to fight the Netherite Monstrosity, because that guy shouldn't be too crazy, and I'd say our gear is really pretty solid. Honestly, pretty solid. Maybe this guy could use a reforge to get 3 slots, and then we could add an extra gem, and then I think that would probably top it all off. Besides that, just slowly reforging these accessories so that we can increase the armor toughness, and basically the ender spell power. Just because the higher your spell power for ender, the higher these echoing strikes will become. And I highly recommend it just because if you look at this, it does say 269%. So every time you smack, there's going to be a little after effect that occurs in that spot or on the enemy that'll basically do 2.5 times your damage in that instance. So the higher your spell power, the higher this can be. I know when I played on a server, I had this close to, I want to say, 10,000%. So you just go, run in, jump, smack a dragon, and you basically one tap the dragon, which I will show you guys in the future, but right now we are nowhere near that, just because I haven't gone too crazy in reforging everything. And I'm testing out some things like this guy. I've never really used this. I usually use the belt system just because it gives us a ton of charms. And then as you make more of these guys and slowly find some artifacts and relics that are in the charm accessory, you could just keep stacking all of them along here as well as utilizing this. And then you can reforge these as well and get some extra ender power. So yeah, super cool stuff. It's like this guy. I have no clue what the Tyrant Mask is. However, according to more relics, if you look over here, oops, yeah, one of the things that you can get, where is it, is this crown. So I'm assuming if we complete all of these little mini quests of this Tyrant Mask, will turn into this Crown of the Legend, which I have no clue what it does, but I'm hoping it boosts our stats a good amount, just because this guy does nerf our stats a good amount. Let's see, doesn't really show how much it nerfs us by, but I do know when we are wearing this, it is reducing our movement speed by 20%, and I think just all our stats in general drop by 20% when we do have this on. So, yeah, if you do utilize your farm, your little XP farm, that should be easy for me. Placing blocks, well, that's not going to be an issue just because I do plan on terraforming this area just a little bit. So I have mined out a little bit of this. I do have quite a lot of this to remove, and then I am most likely going to have to replace the stone layer with some dirt. So yeah, I'll probably hit the blocks place easily. Enemies hit easily. Just distance traveled. It looks like I'll probably just be running back and forth, and basically whenever I'm adventuring, just because I am in a conquest of looking for the Ring of Flight, which I have yet to find. It's been eluding me, which is rare. I have found multiple of them in a server, so yeah, I can't wait to do that. That is going to be super nice, especially for kingdom building. Getting a nice high viewpoint of this definitely helps, just because uh, I did have to spend some time looking around and running around. My bad, I had something to do, but yeah, um, forgot what I said. I'll probably hit these stats, get this. That'll be pretty easy, very useful. Besides that, let's get this show on the road and take on the Wither. Now, where did I place it? There we go. 4 of you, 3 of you, and then I guess I'll just use the mine to go as low as I can, spawn them in, and beat them up. This Wither should spawn probably level 110, because it's basically your level plus 50, if I'm not wrong, or it's base level 50 plus whatever your level is, which should be the same thing no matter how you look at it. Could be wrong, it's been a little bit since I last fought the dude, but we can find out together in just a moment. So yeah, let's see. This is the bottom? Nope. Oh, technically it is. Let's see. What would be a decent spot? I guess probably over here. Just spawn them in right here, see what happens. Okay, so we go 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do this real quick. So that's echoing strikes. We'll do oak skin and then charge. That should be honestly more than enough. Have that for quick healing purposes. Boom. Okay. So this is a little too small of an area. So let's go this. Then like that. Let's do this. Let's do that. Boom. Okay. Now this should be way better. So we do something like that. Boom.
Countless dead souls merged into abomination of such terrible form that it defies description.
Let's
The
shoot this guy.
earth is stained by the very presence of
As you can see, it is that easy. Once you have some pretty decent gear, it's kind of nutty how easy these guys become. So this we are not going to be using just because I am going to do the paladin route. So in doing so, we can actually come over here and start actually clicking on this stuff. So let's take the paladin, come back over here. All we need to do is craft this guy real quick. That's gonna be really easy. Let's actually move this around. Move that. Got the wither eyes, so that puts us at, I believe, 5 different types of eyes, which is going to be very useful. Now we have another star, so we can actually use this to do a few things. Lord Soul, which is another one. Each one does have its own little lore connected to it. And then Shard of Uncertainty, which is what we are actually going to need, I believe, to spawn a boss. I don't remember which one, but we do need it. So let's use this, get back to base, throw that back up there, and then I guess we could upgrade our book real quick. So where did I put you? You go here. So we need this Totem of Undying. I swear I have one. Yes, I do. The Walden Tribute should also be somewhere over here. Oh my goodness. Where are you? I swear it's organized to a point. Or maybe I'm just blind and I don't see it. Because I swear I had it somewhere. Wow. I'm a bit shocked. There it is. So now, press U on it again. 2 and 3. Okay. So we come over here. 1, 2. over here, 3, right click U, press U, click that, and just like that, we have a max tier Archmage spellbook. So, I did want to show you that just because I do plan on making some spells and start throwing on some of these source jewels and some of these jewels of the Archmage onto our armor after maybe another reforge, and double checking that I do have the stuff that I do want, just so that when we go fight the Elder Guardian, we do have a few means of fighting him regarding a bow, a sword, some magic from ours, and some magic from iron spells. Just having a combination of all of these, I do hope, is going to be enough, just in the off chance that one of those guys does choose to be an adaptive, which I completely hate with a passion. However, the off chance it is one of those guys, we can take care of him. So let's double check this guy. So it's 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, and then 1, which should be here. Perfect. Then we come over here, click on you, boom, just like that. That should unlock that one. Pretty easy. You just swap out your thing here, come over here, put this guy down real quick, boom, and then you should be able to enchant this however which way you want. If you do want to unlock this, I'm pretty sure all you have to do is add some more bookshelves up here, maybe even a full row, and then technically you unlock it. It's a little odd how that works, but yeah, if you look at it, this spell is flash heal, so you can heal a good amount of health. I mean, we are at 140, so being able to heal that much is massive. This one, Bind spell, protects us from 3 attacks. Don't really care because there is a spell in Iron Spells that is a little bit, or not a little bit, is way better. And then Judgment strikes your target and around enemies around, doing 21 damage. Not that good, honestly. And then this one's decent, but I feel like the RPG series, their spells and everything feels more underwhelming. It's more towards a more vanilla-esque, not a progression-based thing like how we are playing, or that's my opinion on it. I feel like it drops off tremendously, but the armor's really solid, honestly, so can't complain too much. And then for this guy, all you have to do is put him right here, and boom, you have it. If you do want to use the spells, you are going to need some healing runes. So you type healing, and then to craft this, just a gold nugget and some stone. You can make 2 at a time. With honey, you get 4 at a time. So choose your poison. I don't have honey, so I would rather use some Kubelstone. Grab you, come this way, and just like that. Easy. Let's put these guys away. Let's throw the lapis over here. And just like that. Hold up. Why do I not see it? We do have paladin armor. We have the paladin tool. Don't tell me. If we have iron spells, can we not use it? Because that's what's going on here. Or do I actually have to just have a mace? Hold up. So I'm pretty sure you should be able to use it. Yeah, it says cast spells from book. But why do I not see it? Okay, so we have this. We have the healing runes. What is going on? Requires healing. Yes, we have healing rune. Wow. Okay, yeah. My thoughts have been confirmed. I don't know why. This stuff is very glitchy. Like in the server, I never saw a speck of anything of this at all. So I thought, it might work. I tested it on a creative world. I mean, I guess it was because I was in version 3, not the 2F that we are currently playing on. So I guess they might have fixed it then. However, here it does not look like that works. So never mind, scrap that. My bad. But yeah, just like that, we got the Wither, took on the champion, we defeated him, we got our get back, talked about the changes in the village, what I do plan on working on, the upgrades of our gear, and what I do plan on doing to increase our ender spell power and whatnot, so that we can go fight some more bosses and probably just one tap them all easily and slowly complete some other stuff. I do plan on making some of the spells for ours on my own. I will show you guys the finished product when I do have it, and I think the next guy on our list is probably going to be the let's see, if we come back over here, these two are probably going to be next on the chopping block. But first, I think I might give the Elder Guardian a shot, just because it's a 50-50 whether we can actually beat him or not. But yeah, I hope we can, just because once we take care of him, technically we can start getting slightly better enchants regarding the seashells. We could just mine the prismarine from the temple. Maybe I might find some along the ocean as I'm looking for it, but yeah, uh, getting this stuff will give us higher enchants, which will get us better uh, enchants, basically. Because right now, we're getting Smite 4. That's because that's cap of level 30, which is max. However, once we put these seashells down and start enchanting, we could start seeing something like Smite 6. And then if we increase it to the dormant ones or the deep slate shells, then we might be able to get Smite 7, maybe looking at Smite 8. And then once we go to the end, defeat the Ender Dragon, then we'll be looking at max level enchanting. And then, as I said before, if we were able to uh, basically beat the guy and the Wither, then we're gonna open up some loot bags. So let's have some fun. Let's get some chests open actually, or placed down, just in case. I do have a feeling we are gonna get a ton of stuff. So let's do this. So that's gonna be all the common stuff should fit here. All the uncommon stuff should fit there, and then legendary. Hold up, let me get a couple more chests. I kind of want to see what I get from what. So this is actually a pretty good time to figure out what comes from what. So we have white, blue, green, yellow. White, blue, green, yellow. So we could do white, blue, green, yellow. Perfect. That looks good. That looks good. Let's grab all of these super rares. We'll start with these first, and then we'll open the rares. Yep. Okay. Let's go crazy. So then, a bajillion years later, we get tons of stuff. So we get socketing stuff. We get totems, tons of coins. Looks like this is how we have been getting tons of our mythic tier stuff, which is really nice because I was running low. And if we come over here and just click all this in here, not bad. Tons of totems of undying, very useful. I mean, I hardly ever use these because I use the shield at all times, but who knows, maybe in the future I might want to utilize this. If you are playing hardcore, definitely need this. However, if you're playing hardcore on Cisco's, it's either you're really good at the game, you hate yourself, or you're a YouTuber, because there's no reason to be playing Cisco's on hardcore, honestly. With L2 hostility, it's near impossible to have a fun playthrough. It's completely atrocious. Okay, now let's get with all of these guys. This is gonna be a mess. and I'll pause it and then I'll be back when I have everything. Hey, so I finally opened all of the rare tier, and I mean, apotheosis stuff, that I don't think we are gonna need any more anytime soon. Right now, you might be looking at these coins and be like, oh my god, you have over 1,000 coins. Probably over 1,500 right now. But yeah, 1,500. It's cool. It's nice. It's useful, I'll say that. And honestly, we are going to be spending a lot of it. I'm pretty sure we are gonna have to spend over 800 just buying these cores, unless you want to craft them. But if you want to save time, I suggest you buy them. It's super nice, honestly. So, easily 800 gone in just this stuff. Let's say you want to buy some of other stuff and or a amnesia scroll, then go ahead buy one of these. Fair warning, you do lose 20% of your current skill points. So if you have 100, you will lose 20, and the points you get back will be 80. Of course, you have a clean slate, but you lost 20 skill points. So if you do have money, you could just always buy back the remaining and or use your farm to redo that. Fighting some of these bosses, I mean, super cheap. More than anything, what I see people spending a lot of money on is probably buying one of these things, the reforged materials, because that's super nice. And or, in my opinion, buying the legendary loot crate, just because these are pretty nice. You could get the ancient material, the galactic stuff. My more uh, important things that catch my eyes from here is the legendary ink, the eternal stellas, and probably the 250 free levels of XP. Like, if you want a power level, buying a couple of these and gambling, hoping you get that, definitely the case. Not to mention, once you are towards the very end game of Cisco's and you're making the last armor piece, you do need this. You cannot craft this. This can only be bought. And this is 10,000 coins. So, yeah, better start saving. Definitely, if you have that farm. I mean, look at that. I've been farming like crazy, and I'm only at 1,500. These guys are not going to carry me over, unfortunately, no matter how much I hope and pray. So, yeah, definitely start saving your coins. Let's open up the epics, and then we'll start comparing stuff pretty soon. Just because these guys are going to be really quick. It's very nice seeing the Godforged pearls. And just like that, that is all of it. Let's click this up here. And not bad, not bad. That's almost another 250 coins. 14 pieces of stellarite, which will help us make the stellas if we want to make it ourselves. Which, it's a cool setup, so maybe some Godforged pearls. That's how we increase our gear again before we get to the ancient material and or galactic material. And we are done. Look at that. Got a few dragon eggs. I have no clue what dragon eggs are useful for, besides using it in your apotheosis spawner. Ignore conditions. Sweet. I mean, that's cool. And then making the arcane dragon eggs. I've never really seen the arcane dragon from Forbidden, so I don't know how good it is. But just showing off, I mean, we got 6 of them. Almost another 250 coins. Well, let's see, that's 192. Too much work. Don't care. Dreadsteel. I mean, if you want to make the Dreadsteel armor, which is really good armor, you have it here. I'm not going to make it. Some netherite. Cool. What I truly enjoy. Nether stars. That's massive. And then, of course, some ancient material, which we can start utilizing once we make ourselves the ancient reforging table, which, quick trip, or quick tip, you can actually start reforging with this material before you go to the Ender Dragon. And to do so, you're gonna have to use Ars Nouveau. You saw that you do need 3 brick, which means you need 4 end stone. But using ours, you could turn stone into end stone. All you have to do is get a welding horn, a starbuncle shard, and a book with a source gem, put it in an imbuement chamber, and pretty soon you get the item to get into it. Or if you're like me and you have waited a little bit and you come back over here, you can just click on that guy right there, come over here, grab yourself some stone, and get started. I kind of forgot about this. Boom, do this. I'm pretty sure it's only 4, I believe. Let's see. Let's come back over here, grab the ancient material. I'm pretty sure we are going to need our current reforging table. You can come with me, sir. Thank you very much. And then if we come here, press U. We need 2 Godforged pearls. So 1, 2. This is too easy. U again. Click right here, and just like that, we get the ancient reforging table, which is nice because it lets you reforge all tiers below it and the new tier. And if you want to take a quick look at some of the stats that you could get that can be kind of nutty, let's use this guy as a reference, and let's get our current sword. Let's go back into a far out view so that we can actually look at this. So if we toss this up here and throw it there, as you can see, the level requirement does go insanely high. If I collect the XP that I do have saved up, we can probably do this tier 1 reforge. Maybe this one, how I said, this is where you start spending and gambling, hoping you get that plus 250 levels, because you are going to need that plus 250 if you want this. Look at that. 5 gem slots. These 3, just 3. This one, 5 gem slots. I mean, this sword has 3. If we want to add an extra attack speed and maybe another damage to do even crazier damage output, then you're definitely going to want this guy. Not to mention, look at that. Crit chance, 73, crit damage, another 30%. I'm pretty sure with this guy, even if you get it in the godly realm, you could only get maybe high 40s, maybe even a 50% crit chance. But 73? That's near definite. Get some crit chance in your accessories and you'll be at 100 really quickly. So then you'll be doing insane damage. Not to mention that crit damage just keeps stacking with your accessories. So you could get some insane stuff as well. And then look at those things at the top. Sundering, okay, monstrous, cool. 50% chance to hit enemies 3 or up to 3 enemies that are nearby. That's who cares. But the one that's pretty crazy is below 12% max health will be executed. That's an axe little modifier, but you can get it on this. Not to mention the 76% ignoring damage or durability damage, which if you just throw on this gem, that's 100%. So you never have to worry about fixing up your gear. Honestly, that is really insane no matter how you look at it. It's pretty crazy, and I'm pretty sure these are like the higher end. However, if you get the augmenting table, you might be able to push another 10% onto that crit chance. As for how we can do that, that's probably in the near future. Let's see, let's put augmenting, and then we'll probably wrap this up. Hold your horses, we might actually be able to do this as well. So just another enchanting table, another star, Godforged pearls, and some blackstone. Unfortunately, I do not have blackstone, but I do know where a bastion is. So, I mean, that's how I upgraded our gear. So I can just go collect that, come back. We'll have our augmenting table, and then, you know what, guys? You guys are going to be in for a treat. Next episode, we are probably going to be way stronger compared to where we are right now. And then things are going to look absolutely crazy just because of how we are entering the realm of absurdity with reforging and stat bonuses. But with that, guys, I think we can say we are on our way to getting to a point where we can go face Cisco and ask him some very serious questions. Like, who are you? What are you? Why are you? Who's the Fell King? Can we fight him? Can we beat him? And who's the traitor? What are all of these questions? Some of you may be asking, and that is what we are going to do. As the representative from the Order of Truth, that is what I am going to learn and tell you guys. So, with that, guys, if you guys enjoyed today's episode, make sure to hit that like button. If you guys have any comments, questions, and/or concerns, make sure to drop them down below. Two things that I do want to mention that I could possibly help you with is if you do want to increase the amount of stats or points, leveling points that you can allocate, just ask about it. I can tell you where you can modify it to add maybe an extra 100, maybe an extra 40. Maybe you just want to be able to unlock everything and are willing to be uh, going up to level 500. I don't know. That may be your case, maybe not. You want to deal in the realm of absurdity, just go down there, let me know, and I'll get to you guys. Another one is for mine colonies. If you are playing in version 2F, the mine colonies or the mine colonists do stutter, and it can look a little weird unless you are next to them. I did find out from another user in the comments where you can change something to get it to work, and I will be more than happy to share with you guys that knowledge if you guys are in the mine colonies, so that these guys can work and operate on their own without glitching out like crazy, like my guys. So yeah, just let me know down in the comments. I'll help you with that. And if you guys aren't subscribed already, I highly recommend doing so, just because, how I said, school's in effect. Never know when it's gonna get crazy out of nowhere. And when times do get crazy, there might be a chance where there might be a small brief period where I can't upload for a minute because I am busy. So, if you guys are subscribed, you guys will be notified whenever I drop another episode. But with that, guys, thank you guys for watching, and until next time, peace.